Hello everybody and welcome back to the Tyler Creates YouTube channel. My name's Tyler. Hope y'all are having a blessed day. Today is going to be, I don't know what part of the series. Getting a little mixed up on the parts here, but in today's video of the 351 modified engine rebuild, freshen up dealio, we're going to be washing the engine block and prepping it, just getting it ready to go to slam everything back together. Some shipments for stuff are taking a little while. I don't know what's going on, just stuff's taking longer to ship than normal, but hopefully stuff ships. So I got all the block plugs out, or freeze plugs on this side out, and I got all these except this last one, and I'm going to show you guys how to do that. And I also got one of these bearings out right here, so I could order them, make sure they weren't some weird size, and I'll show you guys how to get those bearings out, and then I will clean this up the best I can. We'll get it outside and pressure wash it and blow all the water off and just clean it and make sure it's ready to go. I haven't decided yet whether I'm painting it or not. I'm not sure if I am yet. So without further ado, we'll get right into it. Okay everyone, so we're down here on the motor, on the engine block. I already punched these out. The way you punch these out is a hammer and a punch like this. And you go down here like this and drive it out. And these here, if it falls down in the block, you just take a magnet and fish it down in there. And while you fish it down in there, so let's say you have it like this in the block, just take a pair of pliers, grab onto it, give it a nice tight wiggle, and it pops right out. These are pretty junk, so they're definitely not in the best shape. The way you want to remove these is you got the freeze plug here, or the block plug, and this little lip down here. You want to put the punch right here and just start hammering on it. As you can see, it came loose there, and this one looks like it's going to fall down inside the block, which hasn't seemed to be a huge deal yet. Oh, maybe it won't. If it does fall down in there, if it fell down in there, you just grab a magnet. It can be a little tricky sometimes. Pull it up here like this. Let's see, it wants to fall down. Just grab onto it like that, and pull it on out. And there you go, came out. You do want to make sure these surfaces in here are cleaned up. And you don't want to punch it in too far when you reinstall it, otherwise it can fall down in there and then it's permanently crushed. So you just want to take like a Scotch Brite or something and clean this, but this is getting pressure washed and scrubbed down, so not really worried about it. This engine definitely does have some crud in there, as you can see. You can also put RTV on these, which I will be doing that, putting gasket maker on them so they don't leak, along with cleaning this surface up and making sure there's no major imperfections. So now I'm going to move on, however, to getting the camshaft bearings out with the camshaft tool I bought offline. Let's get right to it. I didn't even get to say what I was going to say, actually, because it didn't record my clip. This tool is the worst tool ever. Don't buy this off eBay. It just is I've never seen anyone have a problem with this. It's got a little number stamped on it. The number 4 with this is the wrong size. It like actually doesn't fit with that somehow. So I had to put one of these on, and these are so cheap they just slide off. So I had to just do some jimmy rigging. I had to like stick that in there first and then hammer that into it with it loose and then tighten it, and I want to get this out. So don't buy this tool off eBay. I'm probably going to be returning this. I don't know. This thing's, if I can even use it. I almost couldn't use it. Like straight up, it was so bad I almost couldn't get it done. Look at that. Not even close, dude. So I had to collapse each bearing. These two bearings were a little offset to this side, so I was able to get at them with this flat head right here and collapse them. I hope you guys can see that. I was able to get at them like down there and collapse them just like that, as you can see, crushed them flat. Each one of them, just mangled them. This one broke, just whatever to get them out. And then these back two were perfectly in line, so I got a small enough tap to fit down the oil passage, and I'm leaning it to each side because they don't fully clear the oil passages. They have these gaps don't fully clear. They stick into the oil passage so you can hit on them. So and then you just take a flathead of your liking, cause any major carnage, and just pull the bearing out. I don't know if you guys can see that. And then we'll check. And there's not a single scratch because this is cast iron. So all the bearings are out, all the block plugs are out. Got this back bearing out. Now I'm going to go through, scrub it down, get all the oil out that I can onto the floor so I can sweep it up. And then I'm going to take this thing outside and pressure wash. Yeah, that was not enjoyable. All right, it has been a couple days since I've recorded. Here I am. Hello, it's early morning. I got a lot of sandblasting to do. I cleaned the block in that last clip. I think I said I was going to pressure wash the block. I ended up doing that. Came out great. I don't know if I'm going to sandblast the block or not and paint it. It's a lot of sandblasting, but I got tons of parts to sandblast. Exhaust manifolds, intake manifold, harmonic balancer, pulley, timing cover, all kinds of little random things I got to do. And if you don't know, sandblasting is pretty straightforward. You got your sandblaster here. My dad modified it. It's a Harbor Freight one. It's a central pneumatic, 110 pound pressurized abrasive blaster, not affiliated with Harbor Freight in any way. But got ourselves a little face shield here so it doesn't, and it's got a little protective flap. I got headphone earmuffs and I got a mask. So we're just gonna get to it. First, I'm gonna start with this guy here, and I'm gonna move you guys back so you can watch me sandblast the first couple parts, and then I'm just gonna run through them because sandblasting is like watching paint dry. Basically, I will just take this thing and just do that for hours and hours and hours and refill sand and blah 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 blah. So I'll get you guys back though, and I'll record doing that. Something ain't right. Pause. Can't see anything. I don't even know if I can. Already got sand in my eye. These aren't gonna work either. Well, I got sand all over this unit. Alright, really quick to give you guys an idea. This is a sandblasted part here. As you can see, not fully sandblasted. This is a dirty part. This is actually the timing marker for the harmonic balancer, and this is the throttle spring mount along with, I believe, something else. But you can definitely see the difference. And I'm grabbing this with a pair of pliers because I prefer not to get absolutely destroyed. I have noticed with grease like that, it definitely takes longer to get off. But yeah, it's sandblasting, really slow process. It can be really fast for stuff like this where it's just surface rust, it takes it off instantly, but it can quickly become a very slow process when it's gooey. So we're gonna jump right back into it. I'd record some of it, but you guys were getting sand on you and I don't have a lens that will zoom far enough in, so I'm just gonna get back to it and continue sandblasting. Just to show you guys the difference between what something that hasn't been sandblasted looks like and something that has been sandblasted. Ta-da! As you can see, super clean, not perfect. This does have a crack right there. There we go. So, but yeah, that looks great. And there's the other stuff right there. There's all the other madness. Back to it. Alright everybody, I figured I'd show you guys the block since I didn't show you it. As you can see, way cleaner. I might throw a coat of paint on the block. I'm not entirely sure. Or I may just slap all the nice painted parts on the block because I really want this thing back together. These holes are the holes for the head bolts. I'll just go ahead, I'm gonna go down to local hardware store and buy some little pipe cleaner dealios and clean those out. It's no big deal. They need to be cleaned out anyways. So yeah, I used Super Clean on this. Not sponsored by Super Clean. Went over the whole thing with pressure washer, sprayed it down, sprayed in here, like coffee came out basically. So that's clean. I'm gonna go ahead and wash that. I don't feel like sandblasting that. But things I did get sandblasted, that's gonna be the power steering mount, both manifolds, water pump, heat riser, some other miscellaneous things. So I'm gonna wash that. I do not want to sandblast the fan, so I'm just gonna scrub the fan down with some sandpaper, spray over it, wipe it down with, you know, some sort of solvent to clean it. Pan, gonna probably paint the pan. Not gonna sandblast it, gonna clean it again. And I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do those because the one on the underside has a sticker and I can't replace the sticker. I don't have a way to like print it or any sort of thing. So those will probably get cleaned with water. Same with the harmonic balancer and catch pan dealio. That pan keeps oil from hitting the bottom of that. And then I'll just clean some other things. Right now I'm waiting on main bearings to come in. I did order, as you can see, here's all the cam bearings. I did order some main bearings. My rod bearings are already in. So I'm just kind of waiting for stuff to get here so I can get this thing slammed back together. I'm tired of having this truck tore apart. I want it put back together, man. I miss driving it. I need it. I mean, I really need it. It's causing things to have problems, be problematic. So I want it back together. But yeah, so I guess I'm gonna condense all this into one video. So for me, it's gonna be probably a day or two or something until it's probably gonna be until I can get all of this reinstalled. Actually, that'll probably be the next clip you guys see is me reinstalling pistons, main caps, crank in the bottom of that, because I'm gonna need this table to set the freshly painted parts on while I'm getting everything else assembled. So I'm just waiting on stuff in the mail, and then all that can go back on the block and we can get this thing moving back to being in the vehicle. I'm hoping by late next week I can have it back in the vehicle, or next weekend, because tired of having it all out. It's not that I like don't remember where stuff goes. I just really need it back together. I need this truck to be like running. So I also ordered new motor mounts. And yeah, so I'll catch you guys in a couple seconds for you, a couple days, who knows how long for me. Alrighty everybody, it has been a couple of days since I've recorded. I've been kind of in a rut here. It's weird, just feeling off. I'm really stressed out about putting this motor back together. I don't know why. I'm just feeling overwhelmed, but I gotta get it back together. So, and I want to get it back together. It's a lot to take in such a short period of time here. I've learned a lot. So today we're going to be performing the, I believe it's called the T. Myers oiling mod. Tim Myers came across it on the forums, and so the problem with these 335 modified engines, I believe, I don't know if the Clevelands and the Windsors have it, but these have really bad oil pressure at warm idle, like below 10 psi when they're hot. But this hole right here is the number one. You know what, I'm gonna get you guys resituated so we can talk about the oiling system on this actually, so I will say it all correctly. Okay everyone, so here's the 335 modified block. This is not a Cleveland or a Windsor, this is a modified. So like I said, these engines have notoriously bad oil pressure at idle when they're hot, and they don't really have great oil pressure all around. Like they're not something to toot your horn about here. So the engine's flipped upside down. You have, this is where your crank would sit, your crankshaft, pistons driving. You have your main cap number 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. You have your fuel pump, your oil filter, and your oil pump comes off right here and sits right here in the pan. The pan would be on this. And the problem these engines have is this. So flipped over, this, let's see, on the engine, this is driver side on the engine, this is the side that the steering wheel's on, and this is passenger. So the problem with these engines is this is how the oiling system works. So oil gets pumped through here into here. This passage hard 90s, pardon me, hard 90s into here. You got your oil filter here. Then it comes through and goes in this inlet right here, back into the motor through another hard 90. There's a modification where you can take this out and Dremel this out and actually increase the size and Dremel the spot in there out. So what they basically did when they designed this motor, obviously, is back, in the 70s. They just drilled a giant hole and then just drilled the hole sideways. They didn't shape it or anything. So there's bad, the oil doesn't like to do, fluid doesn't usually like to really ever do hard angles. So your oil comes in here, goes out here, comes across, goes straight across this galley right here, goes up here to your number 1 cam bearing, goes down here to your number 1 main bearing, goes over, comes down to your number 1 main bearing again, so it crosses over to the passenger side, then it goes up, it runs down the lifter valley, goes all the way back here. Your oil pressure is back here on the top of the engine. That's why you always get really low oil pressure, because it is really low. By the time it gets back here, it's awful. 10 to, 10 below 10 psi at idle, below 15 psi at idle. Goes down this bank of lifters, comes up to this. You have to remember this is upside down, so it would come, well, comes down to this actually. Comes down to this, oils this guy. This number 5 main bearing and cap area feeds the, my brain's not working, feeds the, then, so comes up, feeds this, goes back down, feeds this side of the lifters, driver side of the lifters, and then flows back out. And the way these here work is on this lifter valley, passenger side lifter valley. The mains are fed here, 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 and here, and here. And if you'll notice, that one's bigger, and we're going to talk about that in a second. And then the mains feed the cam bearings. And the problem with these engines is by the time the oil gets from here, well, so the problem is the pump's here. By the time the oil gets back here, it's lost, I mean, basically all of its pressure when it's hot. It's barely got any pressure back here, and these engines are notorious for having poor oiling on number 5 main bearing, and the driver's side oil passage and the driver's side lifters always have low oiling. They do, because they designed it to where it actually crosses over, has to go all the way to the back of the engine, come down. Meanwhile, it's oiling everything here, and then the driver's side lifters and this rear main, or this rear cap, get the butt of the oil. They get basically no oil. So what the modification does, and you want to try this stuff at your own risk, I'm not liable for anything you might try, obviously. I just want to say that because I don't want someone to come after me. Never. I am never liable. Everything here is for entertainment purposes only. So as you can see, these holes here, I believe, are 0.325 inches, and this hole is 1/2 inch. So the problem is all your oil pressure is lost out this hole feeding this bearing, which is very unneeded. So what the Tim Myers oiling mod does, Tim Myers, a summary of what I've collected info from him, is he's an engine builder for Cleveland engines and all these 335 series engines. He's a guru. The dude knows what's up. He knows what he's talking about. This number 1 main bearing's way overfed, and I guess I'm sure the reason Ford probably did it is because they thought, because it had the timing gear on it. I really don't know why they made this so much bigger than all the other ones, but it causes huge problems. So what the modification does, minus his performance cam bearings, he sells performance cam bearings, I'm not doing that, I just got normal ones. What this modification does is you drill, and hear me out here, sounds crazy, but just hear me out. You will drill this hole out, and I'm gonna have to get, that's weird that that's already drilled out to, is this right? Is this the right size? Hold on a sec here. Okay, so you're supposed to drill this out to 7/16. You're supposed to tap it 1/4 NPT and insert the plug. But the weird thing is, this is supposedly a 7/16 drill bit. Okay, that's odd. Regardless, got our 1/4 inch pipe plug here, NPT. What you'll do is tap this, which this seems kind of, I wonder if someone drilled that out already. I don't know, that's kind of weird. So what you're supposed to do is tap this to whatever depth, you need to look up how to tap with NPT stuff. It's not like a normal tap, you don't tap way down. And you insert this plug below flush, and you drill out this hole to 5/16, and you stop in this passage. You don't go all the way to the cam bearing, you stop in the passage here. What that does is, you may think, well, this has 2 holes, shouldn't this one have 2? You're blocking one completely off. The problem is this bearing's right after the oil pump and filter, so this bearing's seeing above 30 psi at the very least. So it's not really a huge deal. Plus, when you drill that out, you're also increasing the flow to it just to be safe, which, from what I've heard, this bearing's overfed even with this hole closed. So I'm gonna look into this. This is obviously must not be the right size or something, because you can't drill a hole out that's bigger than the drill bit by quite a bit. So I'm gonna look into that, and I'll be right back. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, so after doing some research and looking, it says online to drill this out with a 7/16 drill bit, but it's already a 1/2 inch hole, so it's not gonna work. This is a 7/16 drill bit, and it's huge. So I don't know if there's some weird thing with these blocks. I don't know. Don't care. Just want to get this put in. So I'm gonna just try tapping it, because the tap fits in there and, you know, I can start it. I will have to drill that out to 5/16 just to here. You don't go all the way to the cam bearing, you just stop here. This hole here also feeds the distributor, I think you call it the gear thrust plate, whatever. That feeds the distributor, keeps it oiled. Alright everybody, I posted online what the deal was here because I'm really confused online how it hasn't been brought up that I don't know if this was just for Cleveland's. I don't know. The hole's 1/2 inch. How can a 7/16 drill bit drill out a 1/2 inch hole? 1/2 inch is bigger than 7/16, so never mind the fact that my 1/4 inch plug barely threads into that. Like the threads barely engage on the tap. So I don't know. I don't have time for that right now. I gotta keep moving on this engine. So next up, we're gonna be doing cam bearings. Hopefully I don't ruin these. Seems like a lot of people tend to ruin these when they do them. I got some NG Tech cam bearings. Here's the part number if you want it. Maybe. There it is right there. These cam bearings are different sizes. It was orientated backwards, in my opinion, when they put them in here. This is going to be the largest, and this is going to be the smallest in the box. The largest one is going to go here. The smallest one goes all the way down to the bottom. And they go from largest to smallest. This one here, unlike the other ones, has 2 holes because this also feeds the distributor gear through that hole right there. So you just want to make sure this surface is clean. I'm going to get a little bit of brake clean on there, some solvent, and just make sure that it is wiped down and good to go to receive the bearing. Obviously you want to make sure there's no metal or anything crazy. Just want to make sure it's nice and clean. Some people will oil bearings. I've read that you don't want to oil bearings because it can cause issues. I can't remember exactly what was said about it, but I'm not going to be oiling anything. And I'm going to inspect my hole just to make sure there's no issues, no weirdness going on. Looks good to me. So what I'm going to do is grab this cheap Chinese cam bearing installation tool. Pray to the Lord that it does not ruin my cam bearing. You want to line up, obviously, your holes with the holes on here. I can't remember what the measurements were. I was seeing if you could freeze these and get them to shrink, and they only ended up shrinking about 1/1000th. I believe this is going to be 2.53, and this hole is 2.45 or something inches, so it's quite a bit off. But you know, we're going to make it work. So you're going to slide your cam bearing on here. I am going to, well, maybe I won't. Nope, doesn't look like I need to. The issue that it seems like everyone ends up having with these is that the expander doesn't expand enough, and the expander doesn't expand enough, and it ends up riding up on this edge and marring stuff up and causing major issues. So I'm definitely going to make sure I expand this to, you know, the most I can. Expand it. You don't want to ruin these, obviously. So we'll see how it goes. You want to make sure your oiling holes line up. So for this, there's an oiling hole right here and an oiling hole over here. This cam bearing, oiling hole there, oiling hole on the side. So you want to make sure that the oiling hole is going in there and gonna line up there. You can mark these if you want. You don't really have to mark them, but it's not a horrible idea. Okay, it's already starting to get stuck. Everything looks fine so far. I hope that oiling hole is lining up. And you want to get it to where the edge on the tool is flat with the surface. And I'm going to stop right there. Remember, you can always, that's great, I dropped the drill bit. You can always loosen this and retighten it. I'm gonna have to see, okay, so we're not even close. Not even close yet. So I gotta keep going a little bit here. As for the oiling holes, they line up pretty good. Honestly, they don't line up too bad. That one could have lined up better, but what can you do about it? Okay, we are back, everyone. Sorry about that, I just had to get a new battery for my camera. I'm just gonna shove that back down like so. Gonna make sure that that lines up like so. And we're gonna tighten this down like so. And I just want to do a little bit more. Okay, now we're going to want to push the whole thing out if we can. This tool sucks, so right there probably. I'm going to go ahead and say that's probably good. I just need to see here where it lines up at. Let's see. There. I'm not liking that. Not liking that. The problem is, that's not wonderful. The back. Can you focus on my hands, dude? You're supposed to be known for your focusing camera. There we go. You can see that it's got some scoring, but on the inside, looks fine. The edge also looks completely fine. It's got a little bit of a lip there, which I'm not super happy about, but oh yeah, it's got a lip there. That sucks. I don't know how I'm going to fix that. Problems later on. Where is it? Right there. Can you guys see that lip? If I flip it over, you can see it right on the edge of my glove there. That little line that looks like a hair right there. You can really see it right there. That is from the tool. Now the question is, I know it sounds insane, but can I file that off, you know? Because it's not a huge deal. I just don't like it. We'll try it. Okay. We're gonna try it for science. I'll end up having to, for sure, like, fix that. That's a great example of why I don't like that tool. What happens is only one of those pucks was hitting, and it was causing issues, major issues. So we're gonna redo it here. We're gonna redo it. Would I do this if I was building someone else's engine? Probably not. Would I do it with my own engine? You betcha. You betcha. Okay, I like that. That's good enough for me. Now, is there a chance this bearing could slip out because of what I've done? Hello. It probably is pretty unlikely. I mean, you see how hard I had to hit to get it in the second time. That was the second time, and I was still having to, like, I was having to get at the beans, so, I guess that's good enough for me. Man, it's not quite there. I mean, it's alright. Do I want it one more, or do I want it... you know what? I want it a little further. I feel like that's not quite there. I don't know why. I just feel like it's not quite there. Oil is able to flow out of there, lubricate this bearing, flow over here, lubricate the distributor gear, and flow out of here, and lube the distributor, or the thrust plate. So, we're gonna keep along here, move on to the next one, which these are gonna be a little less fun. Okay, everybody, so here's the deal with this one. This is how this works. These kind of suck, so I'm actually gonna have to do this a little differently. You guys can see it, right? Yes. So I was using the number 4. It's got the number 4 stamped on these pucks, but it just ain't gonna work. So now I'm having to use the number 3. So the hole is directly in the middle, of course. That's where it should be. We're gonna perform the same process. It's going in a lot easier. Did I really? How in the heck did I go past that? What? Oh, I went way past, Coach. Dang it. No. No. Okay. I went past. Great. Don't know how I went past. This sucker is gonna be... That's really weird. It's past, but it's flush. And you know, when I took these other ones out, they did stick up a teeny bit, which is real strange. Well, okay, so, what we're gonna have to do with that one, I guess, is, I mean, at this point, really, okay, so, what we can do is come from the other side and just pound it back the other way, but I think what I'm gonna do is I'm going to continue on doing these other ones, and then we'll come back to that one. We will come back to that one. So I got to be more vigilant on what I'm doing here. Alrighty, everyone. I had to modify threads, grind threads down. Yeah, it was not enjoyable. Man, if I didn't know any better, this tool's whack, dude. This thing ain't lined up. What kind of garbage is this? Okay, we're gonna go ahead and send that one down in there. I can't see now, so. Who knows if it's going in right? I have no clue. I don't know. I don't know. This. So here's the deal, everybody. I will have the hello. I will have the link. I am not gonna link this. This thing is up. You know, I'm pretty lenient on businesses. Human beings make mistakes. I'm pretty like, I will, unless it's something, you know, like this, I'll let it slide. This is the worst tool I've ever used, and it's universal. And I tried saving money, and this tool was 60 bucks. One tool for one purpose only. One purpose. $60. Do not buy this tool. Like, I would not trust this with any engine. This thing is sucked. From the moment I got it, from the moment I opened it, this thing sucks. The real ones of these are metal. This whole thing's like a metal chunk. I'll link that in the description for this. This thing sucks. It just sucks. Whatever. It's what I got. I gotta use what I got, man. I just gotta make do with what ya boy has. Let's move on and get this next one installed. Okay, well, nothing to it but to do it. Line it up, hole goes straight through, line's right up there. Are you guys recording? Okay, you are. So the tool's pretty straight. It's subpar. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and really make sure that that's tight. Boy, when they say these are a compressed fit, they mean they are a compressed fit. Everything is happening. If I didn't know any better, it's... Ladies and gentlemen, by the grace of God, this will work. I'm telling you what right now, this is so flippin' honky jank garbage. This is just straight garb. This is... Do not do this. Do not do this. Dead center. Lord, are you gonna give me another one that just so happens to not be completely toast? Because that's what I should get for using this tool, man. This thing should be destroyed. Okay, everyone. Alright, everybody. Sorry about that. I had to take a little break and get some SD cards switched over here. We are recording, yes. For those of you wondering, you can lift this block. It's pretty heavy, but, you know, you can do it. It's pretty heavy, though. Let's see here. How do I want to... You know, I've lifted heavier. So... I've lifted things that I can't lift. And this is definitely not one of those things. This thing definitely is, you know, it's not super bad. You know what I don't like is these stinking, where are they at? There they are. If you just so happen to have to do this like I do, watch out for the transmission mount ear dealios. They kind of suck. That'll work for what we're doing, eh? Right? Yeah. Yeah, I'm just gonna tilt you guys up. Zoom you on in. So here's the deal with this last one. I believe this is how this works. The cam can slip either direction, but because it's got a chain on one end and a gear, I believe that it has the tendency to ride that way. It's pushing that way constantly, I believe. So, which is why there's a thrust plate on the upper end up there, otherwise it'd push it off. But this end, what you want to be careful with is there's a plug that goes in the back here, an engine plug that you pat like a freeze plug, but it's not freeze plug, it's huge. You want to make sure you don't pound that far enough to where the butt of the cam will ride against it while it's spinning. You want there to be a space. So you just want to make sure you are aware of that. You really want to be careful with that. So, again, you can see where it lines up here. And we're just going to hammer it on down in there. Where is she at? There it is. Oh, what am I doing? Perfect. Good to go right there. She's good to go. She is good to go by the grace of God. I cannot believe that worked, ladies and gentlemen. I'm being real here, like, not trying to be like overly, you know, whatever. I'm honest, man. What can I say? The Lord was watching out for me. Holy smokes, man, because this kind of junk can go really wrong. This kind of stuff can go really wrong, man. And you know, to be honest, if the worst I gotta do is pound a bearing back the other direction a little bit, it's a good day. It is a good day. We're not out of the woods yet. I could stick the cam in and it couldn't even fit, so that'll suck. You know what? We're actually not gonna go all the way with this. We're gonna go just... Oh man, I don't like doing this. Mama. Heavy, coach. She's heavy. What can I say? Wouldn't be legit if I didn't say it was heavy. Which bearing was it? Number 2? I sure hope it was number 2. Was it? Shoot. I can't remember. It was number 2. Now we're bopping it back a teeny bit here. We're not going crazy. Where's the hammer? Oh. I'm really trying to keep it off the concrete because I'm not a huge fan of concrete and cast iron blocks. They tend to not like each other that much. And they tend to cause problems when they come in contact hard. Okay. I don't know how I managed to do that, but it all lines up. Good to go. Sweet. So, now what we're gonna do is we are going to spin this thing around. Don't cut yourself. And down. All back. No, I'm joking. You can grab it by the cylinder walls. They're slick. Doesn't work super well. Actually, I would rather have those like that. There we go. Good. Good to go. Okay, everything looks, looks like it looks. What I'm gonna do is get some cleaner on a rag or some water, and actually I'll just use some good old WD and just wipe each one of these down, make sure that everything's good to go. These are NG-Tech bearings. Just so happens that all the bearings I ordered were NG-Tech brand. NG-Tech, if you ever wanted to make a deal happen, I don't know. Never really had a sponsorship, and I really wouldn't sponsor a company unless they were openly Christian owned. That's just how I roll. But yeah, so I got NG-Tech bearings, I got NG-Tech, sheesh, that is a huge, NG-Tech bearings, NG-Tech main bearings. My rod bearings they're like performance rod bearings. I don't know how I ordered performance rod bearings. I don't know. They're hardened, whatever that means. Apparently all bearings are hardened, but these are like, I don't know. Those are Speed Pro. And my cam is NG-Tech cam. So I got NG-Tech bearings, NG-Tech cam, NG-Tech main bearings, and NG-Tech gasket kit. So I'm gonna go get the cam, speaking of, and see if it fits. I'll be right back.